back at it again. So guys, today I just actually want to talk about something that I've spoke about before, but I just want to actually elaborate on it, talk about it further, and actually go deeper on it because a lot of people don't actually understand what I spoke about, and a lot of people have been asking me about it, and a lot of people don't really understand. But we have proven facts, and we have even when we look down our history, we have proven facts. So what am I talking about, guys? So you're actually probably wondering, what am I talking about? A lot of people have been confused by the Bible, Genesis, the creation story of Adam and Eve. A lot of people have been caught up there. A lot of people have been caught up in that story, and they don't even understand that story. They don't even understand the allegory of that story, or the occult meaning of that story. A lot of people don't understand what that story is actually portraying, right? And a lot of people think men are actually the ones who came first, and then women came from men.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
So I actually want to touch on that because it's very important that we talk about it, so that even the queens know who they really are, right? And also even us as men start give the respect, and start respecting and start treating the queens like who and what they are, right? So now that everyone doesn't know themselves, everyone is actually not in line with their selves, with their higher self. Most people don't know their purpose, right? And most people don't know who they are and what they are. The queens have forgotten as well who they are and what they are. The queens are not even vibrating, not even closer to where they were.
You have forgotten who you are, and so forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life.
Right? So you probably wondering, what am I talking about? What am I talking about, right? Because the Bible has told us that Adam actually came first, and then Eve came from Adam's rib, which is actually not true. But how do we know that it's not true? There's no proven fact, right? There's no proven fact.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
But I understand a lot of people are Christians, so they rather choose faith than fact, right? And okay, cool. So sometimes you just have to do critical thinking. Yes, you can choose your faith, but do critical thinking, because faith is actually believing in something that you don't know that it even exists, right? And it basically is something that doesn't have facts, believing in something that doesn't have facts. So having faith, hoping, because you don't know if this is there or not, you're just hoping, right?
You cold. He cold.
We have to face facts, right? In order for us to come to reality and face reality and know who we are and where we come from, we have to face facts.
Remember who you are. You are my son, and the one true king. Remember who you are.
What I'm actually saying is that we can't be stuck on faith, because being stuck on faith means that you are actually relying on something that you don't even know if it's factual. You're just hoping, right? They are facts, we need to get to facts, right? And face facts and face reality. So why am I saying this? So if you look at factual history, what has happened and how everything happened. If you look at the ancient history, if you look at the olden civilizations, right, you get to see that there was a time back in the day, there was a time where there was only women, no men. Women produced women. Women were the first ones. Women were the only people in the planet, right? So you get to see even this factual proof. All the fossils that are actually found from ancient 200,000 years, 300, to over 1 million others, like Cabo Mispless, Mona Lisa, Lucy. All these are women, right? So there was a time where only women existed, where there were no men. Women were actually reproducing through what we call parthenogenesis, which is also actually found in reptilians, right? So reptilians can reproduce without mating with a male figure, right? So that is also what was happening back in that time. Women were actually reproducing through parthenogenesis, which is partheno is virgin, and then genesis is creation. So it was virgin creation, right? Because there was no men. But also now science is starting to show these things. Science is starting to say they knew all this time. It's not like they didn't know, but it's just that they're trying to confuse the people. So now science is actually saying that the woman has a mini archer penis. So a mini archer penis is actually the clit, right? They're starting to recognize the clit as a mini archer penis, right? And then they also say the ovaries of a woman are actually basically like the balls, basically. So this is what I'm trying to say. Women did not actually need a male. Even now, if you look at ancient Egyptian history, is not that old. It's like 5,000 years ago. So if you look at their civilization, you actually get to see they talk about women being able to actually reproduce, because the ancient Egyptians, what they were actually working on, they were actually working on getting back to the spirituality. They were remembering who they were, right? Because we are our ancestors, right? So they were remembering who they were, and they were actually rebuilding the civilization in Egypt. So they were actually focusing on the spiritual side more, right? Even though they had everything, but they were so powerful because they were more focused on the spiritual side of things, right? So they also say that women were able to actually reproduce and even decide what figure, like, do they want a male figure or a female figure, or like, yeah, they were able to choose whether they wanted a female or a male kid, basically, right? So women have that power in them. Women can do that. It's in them to actually do that, right? They don't need men. But there came a time back in the day still where the planet needed a masculine energy, right? So something happened and a woman had to actually reproduce and give birth to a male figure, masculine figure, right? But masculine figure, which is a male figure, comes from women, right? It doesn't come from, women doesn't come from masculine energy. Feminine doesn't come from masculine, right? Masculine comes from feminine. And feminine has both masculine and feminine, right? So that is why you find everything that gives life, they call it mother. Mother Earth, Mother Planet, Mother Universe, Mother Earth, Mother Africa, all these things. Your mother, the person that gave birth to you, you call them your mother, not your father, right? So everything that gives life is feminine, and then masculine sustains life. Masculine energy sustains life. So what is masculine energy? Your sun is masculine energy, right? The sun is masculine energy. So yeah, basically masculine sustains life, it doesn't give life, right? So even if you look at it in terms of like plants and yeah, animals, you get to see that even animals, masculine sustains but feminine gives life. Even in plants, you get to see that the plants, masculine sustains but the feminine gives life. And then even the plants, most that reproduce, they get their energy and they get their nutrients from the sun, right? Which is actually the sustainer, right? That is why we also need the sun, because it sustains life, right? So everything comes from feminine energy, right? There has to be feminine before there is masculine. So with all that being said, with all that, now if you even go to science, if you look at it scientifically, you get to see that the woman, right, the woman has an XX chromosome, which is more dominant. The woman has XX chromosome, and then the male figure has XY chromosome, right? So we have XY and then XX for women. So XY is actually smaller than XX. Y is actually smaller than X, right? So you get to see that the Y, which is the chromosome in male figure, is 4 times smaller than the X chromosome, right? So the X chromosome, which is female figure, is more dominant, right? Females are more dominant than male. Females are the first people to leave. Females are the first people to be here in this planet. Don't be confused by the Bible. Don't be confused by this. Don't get caught up in the story in the Bible, right? Understand the story. There's a deeper meaning in the story. There's so much in the story, but you need to know your history in order to understand the story. You need to also understand that all that is there to actually teach you about yourself. The stories in the Bible are there to teach you about yourself. Yes, I do bash the Bible, but at the same time, the Bible has a lot of things. If you know your history, if you would actually have more understanding of the Bible, if you know your history and if you know who you are, right? So it's very important that we remember who we are. It's very important that we remember, we go back to our history, we go back to facts, we start looking at things for what they really are. You've never seen a male giving life, but you see women giving life every day. So let's not get confused by the things that don't make sense. Let's use critical thinking. That is why I was saying the Bible needs you to have faith, not facts, right? We need to face facts. We need to face reality, right? Because a lot of people are too holy to face reality. Don't be too holy don't get too holy, don't get caught up in the story, but know what the story is trying to tell you. Understand what the story is trying to show you, right? So I just wanted to make this video and actually get into this, because a lot of people are confused. A female figure is also confused because they don't actually know who they are. But a female figure, and let me not just say a female figure, let me say a black woman. A black woman is more dominant, right? A black woman gave life to every race that you see. All the races come from black women, right? The black women can, even now, the black women can give birth to all the races, but not all the races can give birth to a black person. Why? Because black is dominant. A black woman is dominant, right? So there has to be a black woman before there's anything else, right? There has to be a black woman, right? And then before there's all the races, there has to be a black woman. There has to be a black woman before there is men. That there has to be a black woman, right? So we need to start giving our queens what they own. Actually, they own it, right? They own the throne. If you look at ancient civilizations, you get to see it was a maternal leadership or rulership, right? Because back in the day, they knew and understood what the black woman was, right? So if you look at your ancient Egyptian history, you get to see that they were also worshipping the woman. They knew what the woman was. Nothing happened that didn't pass through the woman, right? Everything had to pass through the woman. The woman had to choose who's gonna be king. All these things. Leadership was with women, right? And you get to see that in ancient history, they were actually worshipping what you call the godmother or mother god, right? So don't get caught up, guys. Don't get caught up in all this Genesis story, but realize and see things for what they really are. And yeah, I don't want to make this video too long, but that's about it, guys. Take this information, digest it, do your research, meditate on it, and then come with actually your own. Don't take what I'm saying, but come to your own conclusion, right? But I'm giving you information because this is what you know. We all know this. The soul knows everything, right? So we all know this, right? But now I'm just reminding you guys about this, right? So take this information, meditate on it, do your research, and then come to your own conclusion, right? But don't just take what you get from the surface. Go deep, go deep. It's time we go deep. So yeah, guys, without making it too long, that's about it, and see you guys. Here's a free one, guys. So if you look at what Jesus was preaching, even Jesus was preaching that you will only see the kingdom if you are born again, right? If you are born again, that's the only way you will see the kingdom. Don't get caught up in the story. Like I said, don't get caught up in the story. Don't get confused by the story. How do you get born again? You get born again by being in the womb. That is why the womb is considered as the kingdom, because life begins in the womb of a woman, right? So all life begins in the womb, right? So that was just a free one from Jesus. Jesus tells you, you will only see the kingdom if you are born again. Peace out, guys.